Hey everybody, I'm Jeff Lenoski and this is my 2018 Giant Trance. This is the bike that you'll see me riding in most of my Trail Boss videos. The Giant Trance is a model that I've been riding for years, but I think that this is my best build ever. So let me give you a look at what makes this bike so special. Starting with the frame, I'm riding a Giant Trance Advanced. It's a size extra large. It has a carbon fiber front end, a carbon fiber rocker link, and then the chainstays and seat stays are made out of aluminum. The travel is 140 millimeters, so it gives me just enough travel to hit some really big stuff, but still stay nimble when I want to do technical climbs. Moving on to suspension, this year I switched to DVO Suspension. A normal Trance would come with 150 millimeters of travel. I bump up my diamond fork to 160, and I've been super impressed with how supple these forks and shocks are. Just to allow me a little bit of bailout when things get extra rowdy. And in the back, I'm using a DVO Topaz. It has a 3-position lockout, so it could be fully open, trail mode, and locked. Basically allows me to handle any type of terrain that I could possibly encounter. Cockpit setup is super important to me. I like to have all my controls at my fingertips, and I don't want to go hunting around for shift levers or brake levers. Starting with the grips, I'm running Ergon GE1 grips. This is the latest version. They added some extra ribs, and it just gives you a little bit of suppleness under your hands and some great traction whether you're wearing gloves or not. Next up would be my Shimano Dior XT Di2 shifter. So this gets into the drivetrain, but it's still on my Cockpit. And the reason that I choose this shifter is because of the ergonomics. I've been running Di2 for a couple years, and I'll admit I was a little bit skeptical when I first put it on because I wasn't sure how dependable it would be. And now after 2 seasons, I haven't had any issues. It's just as reliable as mechanical, and the thing that I like about it best is that I could tune the paddle position to put the shifters exactly where I want them, so I don't have to worry about reaching for them. They're right at my fingertips, and I could put all my attention on riding the trail. For braking duties, I'm running Shimano Dior XT brakes as well. I love the performance of them. I love the price point. I like riding a bike that people could actually afford if they want to. I can get all the unobtainable parts that are available on the market, but Dior XT works perfect for me. It's attainable for the average rider, so I feel like it's the perfect thing for me to use and promote, and I love it. For my dropper post, I'm using a Giant dropper this year. This is new. The lever design is great, super ergonomic. I position it right under the bar so I don't have to go reaching too far back or too far forward. I actually position the lever clamp quite a distance off of the grip so that it just sits exactly where I want it to and I don't have to go hunting for it. I'm using Tharsis Pro bars. These are Di2 specific, and what's cool about them is they have a channel that allows you to run the cable inside the handlebar and through the stem. It keeps the cockpit nice and clean. You don't see all kinds of wires sticking out, and I run these at a full 800 millimeter width. My stem is a Pro Tharsis stem. I'm running a 55 millimeter version, and that's getting kind of long for most trail bikes nowadays, but at 6'4", I like to have a little bit of extra room to move around, and since I do so much technical riding, those extra 10 millimeters just give me a little bit of extra leverage on the front end when I need to get the back end up off the ground. The short stems are awesome for when you're downhilling, but longer stems are going to be great for those technical moves and the technical climbs. A new and exciting partner of mine this year is Wahoo Computers. If you go trail riding, you want to be able to follow directions on your computer. You want to be able to upload to Strava or Trailforks or MTV Project. So having a good, reliable GPS computer and one that's easy to use and set up is very important to me. So the Element Bolt totally fits the bill. That sits right on top of my stem and is basically the brain of my bike. The last thing on my Cockpit here is the Shimano Di2 gear indicator. It shows you your battery strength. It shows you the gear that you're in. It's something that I thought was totally unnecessary when I first got it a couple years ago, and now after using it for quite a while, I actually do like looking down and knowing what gear I'm in, and also it gives you an idea of how much battery life you have. And trust me, if there's anybody that would ever run out of Di2 battery, I'd be the guy, and I, knock on wood, have never run out of a Di2 battery on the trail. If you get down to 1 bar, you still have several days left of riding. So if you don't charge this thing, it's your own fault. And I basically can ride all season and charge this thing maybe 3 or 4 times throughout the year. So maybe I need to shift more, or maybe they need to make these batteries less powerful, but this thing lasts a really long time. For saddles, I'm running an Ergon SME3. So this is a super comfortable saddle for long days. I ride a size medium. There's not a ton of padding in it, so it has a nice shape. And then the rear end is kind of blunt, so it's gonna not snag your shorts when you try to get behind it on technical drop-ins and steep chutes and stuff like that. That is connected to a giant 150 millimeter dropper post. That allows me to get my seat all the way down and out of the way so I could tackle some pretty tough terrain. Moving into the drivetrain, I already gave a hint when I pointed out the shifter. I'm running Shimano DRXT Di2. This stuff has been super reliable, it shifts super fast, and even for somebody who doesn't like to do bike maintenance like myself, it shifts fast and clean every single ride. And then I'm using a 1142 rear cassette connected to a set of DRXT cranks with an 1132 chainring. And then my pedals are the Shimano DRXT trail model. Little extra platform, super reliable. I've never found a pedal to be more dependable and more predictable than Shimano SPD pedals. And the XT model is the perfect pedal for trail riding. Next up are wheels and tires. Tires are one of the most important parts on the bikes in my opinion, since it's your contact point between your bike and the ground. You could have the best suspension, best frame, best gears, but if you have terrible tires, it doesn't matter because it won't translate into the ground that you're riding on. I choose to use Vittoria Martello tires. This is a tire that I've started using since the prototype phase, and now it's in full-blown production, and I have honestly never ridden a better tire in my life. I run the 2.3 size. This is a tubeless ready tire. It has sidewall protection with a folding bead. It's light, it's predictable, and it allows me to tackle terrain no matter where I travel. My tires are mounted to Vittoria Demon Plus wheels. These are 30 millimeter inner width rims, so they're nice and wide. They give me a nice wide footprint, allow me to ride without worrying about burping the tire, and I keep my tire pressure fairly low, which is super important when you're riding technical terrain. I like to run 27 pounds in the front and about 26 pounds in the rear. If I'm riding a bike park, I might go a couple pounds higher. And in the rear this year, I just started running a Vittoria Airliner, and I'm gonna show you a cutaway video of that. So the Vittoria Airliner is a tire insert and allows you to ride over rough, rocky terrain without worrying about getting pinches and sidewall flats due to bottoming out your rim. This is a fairly new technology that you've been seeing popping up on more and more racers over the years, but it definitely has been helping out the trail rider, because when you're out trail riding, the last thing you want to worry about is getting a flat tire. And then to that point, for one more sense of security, I'm using orange seal sealant front and rear, and it allows me to go into the woods and ride my bike over the rockiest, roughest terrain without worrying about getting flat tires. Rounding out this bike, a few of the last accessories that are very important are an MRP bash guard. This thing is great because it allows you to go out and ride over rocky terrain and not have to worry about smashing your chainring on things. If you smash your chainring, you could break your chain. You break your chain, you're gonna be walking for a long time. Last but not least, I run a Shimano carbon bottle cage, and my trusty Clif Bar water bottle goes in there. Hey everybody, I'm Jeff Lanoski, and this is my 2018 Giant Trance. This is the bike that you see me ride in most of my Trail Boss videos. Hey everybody, I'm Jeff Lanoski. This is my 2018 Giant Trance. This is the model bike that you'll see me ride in most of my Trail Boss videos. I've been riding Giant Trance. Seriously? Hey everybody, I'm Jeff Lanoski. This is my 2018 Giant Trance. And there's a friggin' plane. But this is pretty sweet how my bike's balancing like this, right? Next up, we'll go ahead and go. So let me give you a look at what makes this bike so special. Probably the fact that it's magic and it balances by itself. Oh, hey. What's up, everybody? I'm Jeff Lanoski, and this is my 2018 Trance. All right, so that's my bike. I hope you like it. Subscribe to my channel to see this thing in action, and until then, I will see you on the trail.